where it moves. And now I shortly have to talk about currently this one. If we select the class where we can see parent class is static mesh actor. So everything in Unreal is hierarchical. So you can see this if we would make a new blueprint and if where it moves. Okay, so let me see. I have a little bit of a list here so that I don't get lost completely. Um, so next thing we want to do is now it's moving. So let's make it that we can control where it moves. And now I shortly have to talk about currently this one. If we select the class where we can see parent class is static mesh actor. So everything in Unreal is hierarchical. So you can see this if we would make a new blueprint and if we open all classes here, then you can see everything comes from objects and it's an actor. So if I open this up, then you see a lot of different actors. And you will also find our BP war gun there, which is a child of static mesh actor. So an static mesh actor is just like a static mesh. There's not much more in it. But if we want to control it, we need to make it a pawn, so we can control it. I can show you a nice graph. Let's see here. Here it is. So that's something we sometimes use when we talk with studios that are switching over to Unreal or like experienced developers to get an overview about the engine. And what you have to understand in Unreal is there are two things. There's the controller, which is kind of the brain, and there's a pawn, which is kind of the puppet that can be controlled. And then there are two different kinds of controllers. So there's a player controller, which controls the player, what gets the player input and then passes it to the pawn. And then there's AI controller, which is driven by the AI framework. And the controller has also the camera manager. So everything you want to do with camera manager is this graph. Let's see. Developers to when we talk with studios that are switching over to Unreal or like experienced developers to get an overview about the engine. And what you have to understand in Unreal is there are two things. There's the controller, which is kind of the brain, and there's a pawn, which is kind of the puppet that can be controlled. And then there are two different kinds of controllers. So there's a player controller, which controls the player, what gets the player input and then passes it to the pawn. And then there's AI controller, which is driven by the AI framework. And the controller has also the camera manager. So everything you want to do with camera manager is in the controller, and the camera can be in the pawn. And then there's a whole gameplay framework like the game mode, etc., etc. And the character, so the mannequin and third person templates, for example, they are a character which is just a child of a pawn, which has a movement component and a skeletal mesh. And the skeletal mesh then goes to the animation blueprint. If you want to see this in more complex, this is. But it is basically the same. So currently we are not in this framework. So currently we have a static mesh actor, which is not a pawn, not a controller, nothing. So if we want to do it properly, we would now do a ship controller, and we do want to do a ship, which is a pawn. So here comes where I do a little bit of a shortcut. So in the ini file, we can define the inputs, and we can say axis and actions. That's what we will do in a second. And then it's passed to the controller, and the controller would tell the boat what to do. In my case, as it is a prototype, I will put my input directly into the pawn, which is possible, but that's not advised for a bigger game. And for me, for example, if I do it now, that means this is a pawn only the player can control. And if I want to have the same boat controlled by an AI, I would have to move my inputs to the controller and then makes a pawn like a clean thing with some strings I can pull, and then either the AI can pull the strings or I as a player can pull the strings. That means this is a pawn only the player can control. Um, and if I want to have the same boat controlled by an AI, um, I would have to move my inputs to the controller and then makes a pawn like a clean thing with some strings I can pull, and then either the AI can pull the strings or I as a player can pull the strings. Okay.
Chat was wondering if these slides are available somewhere.
As far as I liked them to show parts of the we have that, and but we need I stole them. Okay, so as you can see, we have that, and but we need to have it a pawn. So what we do now, we try something, and that will break some things, but that's we have two options now. So either we can reparent this, and then some stuff might break, or we do a new one and then migrate everything over. I will try the scary one, and oh no, I don't want to start Visual Studio now and look at the so okay, here you can see the integration to C++ is pretty obvious. So all the stuff we saw before, it's defined in C++, and then but that's ID Andreas. But I say pawn. He said I expect that some stuff break, but that's okay. So we make this a pawn. He is telling me this is maybe not the best idea, Andreas, but I say I don't care. So now stuff breaks, as said. So let's see. I'm just thinking if this is really a good idea or not. So it is complaining. Now, actually, let's do it the proper way. So we do this and call this old. Or I'm not 100% sure. Let's try first to fix it up, and then we find our boat again. Okay, what do another one? So this is okay now. This looks okay. So first of all, let's take a look. So right now it doesn't do anything. It is complaining that it doesn't simulate physics. So yeah, nice. So we are he took them. So let's see. Oh, there's our boat. Nice. So we are back. Bye boat. So we have our boat. It's still going in the wrong direction. A laser boat, by the way, is a laser is a sailing boat. There's later to numpad 4. First of all, we can. So we have our boat. It's still going in the wrong direction. A laser boat, by the way, is a laser is a sailing boat. The version, because before that I always had to do it by myself. So this is really nice. Okay, so what did I want to do? Okay, we enabled the plugins, we saved. We have to restart. We have to restart the version. Where is it? Okay, here we go. And what you also can see is directly when I open it up, it loads this map. So we can fix two things now. First, in the project, have a default game map, and this instance it can find enable remote. Next thing we want to do is for the Python to use the send to Unreal tool. We need to enable remote execution. So I just do this. So the Blender plugin tries to find the first instance it can find and sends the stuff there. So This is how you enable it. And I can tell you from an hour searching yesterday why it didn't work. If you have two instances running and both listen to it, the plugin doesn't care. It just grabs the first one. And I was wondering why in my new project nothing shows up, while in my old project 10 wind vanes appeared. So now I hope this is the only one I have opened, but this is yeah, just a minor thing. So so let's go back. And I really hope this works now out of the box. So when I have the plugin, you have this different folders, and there's a really good live stream about that. And there's even, I think, Victor, didn't we just release the Unreal where the Send to Unreal plugin is super great. When you balance your stuff, it is always nice to do the Sid Meier rule. So you either double it, and it's much easier for me to work with that. So what I'm basically doing is I'm taking the wind direction. Why is this still wrong? Normals. I don't want to compute that. Let's see. Let's try first to fix it up, and then. So we are in the event graph. Here we have tick and the lake buoyants, which we don't even need. So this is okay now. So let's see. I'm just thinking if this is really a good idea or not. So it is complaining. Back. Best idea. Okay, what do we have left? Let's take a look. Because as said, we have a new one now. So what else? I think we might need to put the water points again, or the action. There's first of all. First of all, let's rename it back to not old. So here's another thing. So he's complaining now that there is something that's called like that. Stuff. And if you delete something or remove it and it's referenced somewhere, it's making like a little link and telling you, I'm not here anymore, I'm over there. And that can get messy if you don't take care. So for this one, you can just get there and say fix up, and then it's cleaning it up for you. So now we are good. Okay, so next step is input num. So we are in the event graph. Here we have tick, and here we do numpad 4, for example, and we do numpad. This is not the right way because we will specify it in a second in the project, but I just want to test if it is working or not. So here we have numpad 4 and 6 we want to use, and now we want to rotate the boat. So first let's try how we rotate the boat. So we could do something like we could do something like, should we do it with force? Should we just I think we just rotate it. So we can add actor add actor world rotation. Yes. So here we go. So we add a world rotation, and then we rotate. Z is up, so we rotate around Z. So let's do something like, I have no idea. It's every tick. So let's do, I don't know. let's do 5 and see how this goes. Oh, okay. So now now our boat is driving forward, but also rotating. Nice. Um, not exactly what I had in mind.
I think that would make everyone seasick.
But this is really fun. That's the part I really like with prototypes. So sometimes the best ideas come up when stuff go wrong. Um, so if you can see, so now I have my boat and it's driving. It's not input, but it's still nice. So let's see. What we want to do is I will split this. We only want to change something here. So let's make a variable. So let's see. What we want to do is I will split this. We will we only want to change something here. So let's make a variable. Promote to variable. Let's call this accumulated rotation. I sometimes have really bad variable. Names, but this one should be okay. So and then what we do here is I'm just setting that. So when I press, I'm bad variable names, but this one should be okay. So and then what we do here is I'm just setting that. So when I press, I'm forward